Speaking of people who've seen Trump naked, White House doctor and Sears portrait admiral, Dr. Ronnie Jackson. He's Trump's pick to lead the VA, but yesterday his confirmation hearing got rescheduled after rumors surfaced that Jackson overprescribed pills and drank on the job. And today, we're learning some damaging new details. For instance, one trip during the Obama presidency, White House staff needed to reach Dr. Jackson for medical reasons and found him passed out in his hotel room after a night of drinking. So the staff members took the medical supplies they were looking for without him. Okay, Mr. President, this may hurt a little or a lot. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Drop trowel, let's go. All right. And on an overseas trip in 2000 sometime, and on an overseas trip in 2015, Jackson was intoxicated and banged on the hotel room door of a female employee. Now, we don't know the whole full story. Maybe he was just warning her that there was an aggressive, drunk doctor outside her door. And his drinking put people in danger. Once, at a Secret Service party, the doctor got intoxicated and wrecked a government vehicle. But he did learn an important lesson. Air Force One does not fit through the Burger King drive-thru. Okay, these are pretty scandalous revelations just in the last 24 hours, but honestly, we shouldn't be surprised. Would a sober man describe Trump's health this way?
It's called genetics. I don't know. It's some people have, just great genes. I told the president that if he had a healthier diet over the last 20 years, he might live to be 200 years old. I don't know. I mean, he has incredible genes. I just assume. I mean, if I didn't watch what I ate, I wouldn't have the cardiac and overall health that he has.
And anyway, Trump is 239 pounds and 100 feet tall, and his voice sounds like my childhood dog. And is anybody else in here hot? Somebody get these spiders off me! Yeah! And allegedly, I hope he's okay. Yeah, I hope he's okay. And an inspector general's report in 2012 recommended that Jackson be removed from the White House because he and a rival physician exhibited unprofessional behaviors as they engaged in a power struggle over the White House medical unit. And there is nothing worse than having doctors fighting over you. I mean, a prostate exam is uncomfortable enough with just one hand up there. In a summary of the accusations against Jackson obtained by reporters, the doctor was described as toxic, abusive, volatile, prone to screaming tantrums, and the most unethical person I have ever worked with. To which Trump said, "He reminds me of a young me." But I like him. I like this guy. Something about the cut of his jib, I don't know. But on the plus side, he handed out the pills, baby. Right, Montana Senator John Tester?
The word is that on overseas trips in particular, that Admiral would go down the aisleway of the airplane and say, "All right, who wants to go to sleep?"
Okay, but he's just following the Hippocratic Oath. First, do no harm. Second, who wants lewds? Jackson apparently would hand out prescription drugs like they were candy. In fact, in the White House, they called him the Candy Man. Of course, that's just a nickname. His official title was Secretary of You Good? This is shocking. This is I am really surprised. Of Trump's two doctors that we met, which one looks more like a drug pusher? But, sure. And just minutes before I came out here, even more damaging details emerged. Apparently, Jackson provided a large supply of Percocet to a White House military office staff member, throwing his staff into a panic when they could not account for the missing drugs. That's right, they were in a panic. And what's worse, there was no Percocet to take the edge off. And sources close to the doctor say the Candyman would also hand out drugs like Ambien and Provigil. Well, it's just like the old song. Who can get Lunesta and Ambien too? Triazolam and Somazone and Thalmadrac too. The Candyman. The Candyman can give you some halcyon and make the world go. We got a great show for you tonight. Lucy Liu is here, but when we return, I tell you all about Washington's new power couple, Kanye and Danye. It sticks around.